Hello everyone, this is Shruti. I'm from Group 3 of ITA. Our group members are Anusha, myself Shruti, Shrestha and Sindhu. Our internal guide and our HOD ma'am is Dr. Vijaylata ma'am. So under her guidance, we did this project on Android. So it's a proposed system and the system works as follows. The main reason we developed the system, which we named as Expo Lab, is that we wanted to save all our device data like contacts and messages in the form of an Excel sheet. So that Excel sheet should be saved in our SD card so that our internal memory is saved. Like whatever messages I have in my inbox and whatever contacts I have in my contact list, I'll save it in the form of a file and then that file I'll store it in my SD card. So if I have to transfer that file, I can transfer it through Bluetooth or USB. So this is an Android program and our program has 7 classes. So it starts like this. This is the first class, main class. So it goes like this. First line, we have a package. Our package is com.innovations.inspire.read SMS, sorry. So the package we created, like we created many folders and internally we save this program. And then we have the import statements. We have import for content, intent, app, action, bar, activity, bundle, menu item, view and button. So these will be explained when we get into the program. Anyway, this is our main class, public class, main activity extends action bar activity. The reason we extended action bar activity class is that whatever we do, we have to get the output on a screen, on the interface, whatever we are doing, say a mobile screen. So for that, for our output to be showed on a screen, we use this action bar activity. That is why we extend this. And then coming to the class, we have 2 buttons, SMS and contact. These SMS and contact are instances of the button class. And then here we provided a method which is called onCreate, whose parameters are bundle, save, instance, state. This is the reason we use this method is like when we tilt the screen or when we rotate the screen contents will also be rotated. For that change to happen, they pause for a second and then they rotate. So when that pause happens, it needs to save whatever the previous state was. So that for that reason we use this bundle class so that the previous states are stored. And then we have the instance button. SMS is the instance of a button. And then so we create an object and we give an ID. Like whatever SMS we select in our app, they have to be recognized with an ID. So we use this with the help of our class. And then this method which we have, what it does is like whenever we select the inbox copies that we have in our app, whenever we select them, what it has to do, it has to lead this to another class which is called as imported underscore SMS activity dot class. So whatever is happening in this, it has to create a new intent. It means a new window should be created and it has to be redirected to that class. So the actions of whatever should happen, how this messages should be brought into the app, how they have to be selected and how they have to be imported or exported into a file will all be defined in this class, imported underscore SMS activity dot class. We use this intent class so that we are specifying that from here, like from the current stage, it has to open into a new window. For that we use this. And start activity, it's like init class, like where we started. And then the same goes for contacts also. Here also we provide an intent where we are specifying from this main activity, it has to go to import contacts activity 2.class, where everything regarding what should happen to the contacts once they're selected, how they have to be saved into an Excel file, everything will be specified there. And then we create this boolean so that we'll have to know whether a particular message is selected or not. For that we use this boolean. We write it twice because we have both contacts and SMS. And here we are getting the ID, like we use this int ID so that whenever we count like how many SMSs are already in the file, how many are still there. So for that we use this int so that they're counted based on the item ID and then they're stored here. So this is our main class. this shows options, items selected, how many items are selected, what are the items selected. It needs to return. So this is what is happening. So this is the main activity. Now we go to imported SMS activity. So in this class, these are the import statements. We have for intent, cursor, environment, action bar activity, bundle, log, menu item, view, array adapter, button, list view. And we also have imported file writer, io.filewriter, IO package classes like file writer, IO exception, util packages, array list. So these I'll explain this as I go into the program. So the class is imported SMS activity, and it anyways extends action bar activity because the output has to come out of the screen. And button instances are import SMS and export SMS. List view is selected SMS. The reason we are using this is on the screen we need to get two buttons, import SMS and export SMS. That is the reason we are giving that. List view is whatever messages are there in my inbox, the copies of those messages should come as a list, and then I can select. So that is the reason I provided a list view here. And SMSDB adapter, this is for temporarily storing my selected SMS. Before I export into a file, I have to store it somewhere temporarily. So I'm creating a temporary database. That is the reason I'm using this. And then cursor is for the same, to know like what all SMSs are selected. And we have like 3 arrays here. One is name list, mobile list, and total contact list. The reason we are using this arrays is when I export my messages into an Excel file, what all I have to get as an output is I have to get the name of the contact, I have to get the mobile number of the contact also. So I'm using these arrays. And then I used the onCreate function with bundle and save instance stays as a parameter, so that when I tilt the screen or rotate the screen for a second, when the contents of the screen are paused and then they go into the next state, the current state is saved. For that I did, and I created the instance of SMSDB adapter, giving imported underscore SMS activity dot this as a parameter. And then for the import button, what should happen? Like it is a button, and I'm using this ID to know that what I'm giving an ID for every inbox message copy that I get. Export also the same, I'm giving an ID. So ID is for recognition, like to know like what SMS I have selected, what are exported, what are shown, for that. So selected SMS, an instance of list view is also created. Import SMS. This method tells like when the messages from my inbox, the copies of the messages from my inbox are shown to me in my app, and I do something there, like I select the message or something, where should I be redirected? So here intent is created for that. Right now I'm in imported underscore SMS activity dot this. Right now I'm in this current class, and I should be redirected to read SMS dot class. So I have to be redirected there so that the functionalities will be defined there. And then I'm starting it. So here when I export the messages, like here what is happening is in this method, whatever is defined there, I'll explain. What is happening is the copies of the messages from my inbox are shown to me in my mobile phone. So then all the messages, I'll tick them, whatever I want to save into a file, I'll tick mark, and then I'll click export. When I click export, an Excel file will be created. The Excel file should have these. An Excel where we are specifying if the Excel file is here, .csv. The output should be a .csv file. .csv files are by default Excel files, so we are giving the output as .csv file. What all should be appended or recorded, saved in the Excel are the name, the message, and the mobile number. So the output would be the name, the message. Like if a message is sent to my phone and I export it, the way I get it, I get the name of the contact, I get the contact number, and I get whatever message they have sent me. And here we are running a loop because when the messages are shown in my app, it has to run a loop so that every message it checks. it needs to run from top to bottom so that it checks if that particular message is ticked or not. If it is ticked, it takes into account. It adds to the name list and mobile list. And then writer.flush, writer.close, you're closing it. Flush because you don't want to save the you don't want to save what all messages you have selected permanently, so that you use flush, and you give an exception. This whole method we use so that if at all I pause in between, like when I'm doing this whole process of selecting the messages, exporting and importing all that, if I get some other message or if I have to use my WhatsApp, so whatever the functionality is happening, it needs to resume for a while and then it needs to start again. For that we are using this whole method. Next, coming to the contacts class, import contacts activity 2 class. Here we define like what all should happen when when I open contact, when I click contacts button in my app. It has to lead me to a screen where I have two buttons, import contacts and export contacts. And then it needs to, when I click import contacts, it needs to give me the show me all the contacts that I have in my phone. And it should also give me an option where I can select a few. And then I should also be given an export button where when I click export, all the selected contacts are transferred into an Excel file and saved. So for that we'll see. And this is the class. As I said, like the package is com.innovations.inspire.readsms. And these are all the imported statements. I am importing intent, cursor, environment, action bar, activity, bundle, log, menu item, view, array adapter, button, list view. I am also using file writer and IO exceptions along with array list. So I'm importing their packages also. So coming to the class, it is public class import contacts activity 2 class, and it is extending action bar activity because my output should be shown in the form of a screen. So I'm creating two instances of button, import contact and export contact. These are the buttons I'll be displayed on my screen in the phone. And then I'm having a contact DB adapter, DB contact, and a cursor. Like we have SMS DB adapter where we are storing our SMS temporarily in a database. It's same here. And then it's a cursor to know what are the contacts I have selected. And I'm creating 3 arrays: name list, mobile list, and total contacts list. And I'm having a list view where all the contacts of my phone are shown in the form of a list. So here I'm creating a bundle, as said before, like if at all I rotate my screen and all, for us the screen contents should also rotate. For them, before that happens, they pause for a while and then they rotate. So for that, they need to be a function where it saves the instance of where it saves the current instance before rotating or anything. For that, I'm creating this on create function. I'm using that. Here I have created the object of contact DB adapter, and then import contact where I'm giving it's a button. I'm creating but the object of a button, and I'm also making sure an ID is provided. Same goes for the export contact and import contact. And then for the contact list, so here I'm using total contact list.clear, so that once the contacts are whatever the selected contacts I have, once I have already exported them, they have to be cleared from the app. Like it doesn't need to show every time the contacts which are already there. And then here I'm in this method I'm defining this intent where I'm telling that from import contacts activity 2 dot this, I have to be redirected to another window. A new window should be created, and the functionalities of that window are provided here. Contacts reading dot class, and I'm starting. This is for import contact. When I import contact, what should happen? And here for export, it's defined here, where this environment is for, I'm creating a database environment where it is temporarily stored. For that, I'm giving this. And here file writer shows that where the output should be displayed. where the output should be written. For that, I created the instance of file writer, and then the output for me has to be saved in the form of an Excel file. So I'm giving a .csv file, because CSV files are by default Excel files. And then what should be shown in the Excel file? So the what all should be shown is name and a mobile number, and it is running a loop. So what like it runs a loop from top to bottom, so that it checks what are the contacts that I have selected. And then I have a dot flush and dot close, so that once I'm done, the whole thing is closed. I mean, it is erased. It is not permanently stored for that. And I have a catch exception. And as said before, this method I'm using so that, like, whenever I'm doing something in my app and then I get a call or something, so the whole functionality has to be resumed for a while. So what should happen? It is defined here. We use log functions so that if at all any disturbance happens or pause happens, we have to use this log class. So it pauses and then comes back. It acts like a stack. And so now we will get into read SMS class, where we have defined the functionalities of what should happen once I'm done with selecting the messages. What should happen, like when I click import SMS, what should happen? Everything is defined there. So we'll get into read SMS. So this is the package here, and these are the import statements. This is the class read SMS extends action bar activity, and I have I have an instance of button and I have an instance of list view, and I have two arrays, array SMS and array IDs. So array list, I have SMS, IDs, mobile list, message list, date list. I'm using so many arrays because in my output I have to get contact number, I have to get the message, I have to get the date. So I'm using many. And then selected mobile list, selected message list, selected date list also, so that I should know like what are the SMSs or messages selected. So the class starts public static array list items add equal to new array list. This is another array list, so that I'm knowing like what are the items that are being added, like what are the messages that are being selected. And select positions to know that at what, like where the message is and where it has to be placed. Like new SMS should that I'm exporting should be appended at the last. So for that we are using that, and SMS DB adapter, because we have to temporarily store the message into a database. And we are again creating again we are using the onCreate function with bundle instance, so that we can save the state. We are creating the instance of SMS DB adapter here, and we are using import button and SMS list. I mean, we are creating the object. So here in this class, what happens is, when I click import button, what should happen is it should take the contacts that I have from my phone, sorry, the inbox messages that I have from my phone, and it has to display me. So for it to check, I'm running a loop, and whenever I find a message, I'm adding it to the items add array list. So I'm adding it and I'm appending it. So along with the message, I'm also getting the mobile list also. So, and I'm temporarily inserting into an account of SDB, where I'm temporarily storing the message in a database. So here what we are doing is, here in this, from here to here, what we are doing is, once we have already exported a message, once we have already added a message into the file, it should not be showed again. For that, what it does is, it continuously runs the loop. It checks if the message is already added or not through the ID. If it is already added, it should not be shown to me on my screen. So for that, we are using this delete SMS method. And then it is closed. A new intent is created as it is. So once the intent is created, like once I click import SMS, the messages are displayed to me. I selected the messages. So after I select the messages, I'll have to click export. So what should happen then is explained in imported underscore SMS activity dot class. Because I gave this as the output because in imported SMS activity dot class, I'm defining the functions of export SMS. Export SMS buttons functions are explained here. So I'm redirecting it there. And then we'll have context reading class with the same functionality like message. We also have for contact. Where this we'll have the package, and then we have the import statements. And we are also importing some Java classes. And then we have the class context reading expense action bar activity. We have two instances of button and list view, and we are having many array lists: name, phone list, selected names list, selected phone list. Name list is for displaying the name of the contact or adding up all the names of the contacts that I'm selecting, and phone list is for the phone number. Selected name list, selected phone list, it's for the program to know what are the numbers that have already been selected. Contacts add is like array list to know it runs a loop wherein it sees all the contacts in my phone and it keeps adding. I mean, it keeps taking all of them and it shows me in the screen when I import the contacts. And I'm creating a bundle here again. In CDB, it's for the temporary database. And I'm creating the object of a button, contact button. I'm making sure that the ID is also given. And then same for the contact list. So here what happens is, in this method, contact button dot click action listener, what actually happens is it runs a loop so that when I click import SMS, it needs to give me all the contacts that I have in my phone. It needs to display me in my it needs to display me in my app. So what it does is it runs a loop. It checks like if it one by one checks all the contacts, and then it runs the loop. If a contact is already saved into a file, it need not show. So it runs and it checks using the ID. And then what should happen? It creates an intent where it is telling like from where it has to go, like from contact reading dot this from this class I imported. So all this happened. I got the contacts list from my phone. And I had an option of selecting, so I selected, and then I'm clicking export. So where it should go, it is specified in this import activity 2 dot class, because we have I mean it should be redirected to this class. It should be redirected to this class because in this class we have defined what the export contact definition, like what should happen when I export. Everything is defined here. So finally, this is our project, and this is how everything works. And thank you so much for your patience. Thank you.